Hey there! Today we'll have a look at a pen from a brand that I rather like, and if you've seen some of my other reviews, then you have seen my enthusiasm for such pens as the Parsons Essential, the Churchman's Prescriptor, the Captain's Commission, and Italix, and that brand can only be purchased through mrpen.co.uk, has now launched another pen. It's been out for a while, but what makes it interesting is that it has a solid 18K gold nib, and up to this point the Italix brand only had steel nibs, so it's rather nice that now it comes with an 18K nib, as you can see there. This pen was sent to me by Peter Ford, the owner of mrpen.co.uk, and thanks a lot. I was very interested to check this out because my experience with the Italix nibs has been very, very good. So I was very interested to see what the gold nib would be like. Okay, so the box, it came with a simple white cardboard outer sleeve, but I took that off. This is the box. The boxes are simple, but they're nice, and that's the way I like it. It has the Mr. Pen logo in there, the little guy in the frock coat, which I always find very nice, very classy, simple design. Comes with a cartridge and, of course, the pen. Now, this is a specific pen that I got and that I enjoy. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. Now, if we start at the very top of the pen, for example, the Churchman's Prescriptor has the word Italix etched in there, and this pen does not. There's nothing there on the finial. And you go to the clip. This is the typical clip that is used on the Italix brand with a little round thing at the end. Well, it's not really round, it's more of an oval, I guess. And then you have Italix right there. Let me try to focus that a little bit more. There we go, Italix. And then you have this nice material, lacquered. These are metal pens, as I think all of the Italix pens are, making them rather nice and robust. And as you can see, it's nice and shiny. And then at the end you have this end cap with threads for secure posting. You unscrew the cap and then you can screw it onto the back end of the barrel, and what I really like, I don't know if that's actually intended, but you can screw it, then over tighten the screws a bit, and that turns the clip around. But the nice thing about that is that you can align the clip and the nib. And I know that's a small thing, but it's nice when the two are aligned when you write. Okay, here we have this gold nib, and by the way, if you don't like a gold nib, you can also get this pen with the steel nib, and you can get a whole bunch of nib options. If you get the 18-karat gold nib, there is only medium. So the Italic options are not available, or not yet available. In any case, right now you can't get them anything else than medium. So here you have the nib. It's a nice two-tone. It has Italix, yeah, that's laser engraved, and then it has 18K 750 etched in there. So nice two-tone nib. I don't know how well you can see it in this light. It's evening here, but believe me, it's two-tone. The bottom part is gold-colored, and the lower part is silver-colored. These pens are fed either by cartridges or a converter like this. Works well. It's a converter, simple enough. It does the job, draws up ink, no leakage whatsoever. I have experienced no problems with it in any way. So there you have it, the pen. Now, the things I like about it, things I don't like about it. Let's start with things I don't like about it. In all, I like it. I think it has a nice balance, has a good proportion to it. It's a little top heavy, but that's almost, I think you cannot really avoid that with so much metal. What I really like is this section. I'm fairly certain that's the same section that you get in the Parsons Essential, and it's a very comfortable section. I've always liked the shape of that. It's not the fattest one in the world, but because the shape is very comfortable to hold. These threads, I don't find them sharp, so even if you hold your pen a little higher, as I tend to do, I have not had any issues with this. I don't feel the threads, they don't dig into my skin, which is very pleasant. One thing I noticed when I unpacked it is that the end can look a little bit like a kit pen, and some people like that, some people don't. It's a look that not everybody cares for. What I do like is that you can screw that cap in place and actually align the clip. The fact that you can screw the cap in place for posting makes it very secure. It will not fall off, and you can use it posted. Now, as you can see, it gets very large and also rather top heavy. So for me, I use this unposted. Okay, now let's talk about the nib for a bit, because the nib is what makes this pen special, because this is the, as I said, I think this was the first one in the Italix range that had a gold nib, and I could be wrong. I know there's also the I think the Imperium. Is the Imperium? I think so. In any case, this is one of the pens that is I think the least expensive Italix model that you can get with a gold nib, because the Imperial or Imperium, I'm sorry, I'm mixing things up right now, that's the solid sterling silver model, making it a bit more expensive. This is rather affordable. So what did I think of the nib? Well, to be honest, I was very impressed. I've told you I like the Italix nibs. I like their steel nibs. I usually get Italix broad nibs, which are very smooth, very nice, excellent flow. This is just a medium, but it writes beautifully. Very smooth, very pleasant experience, no scratch whatsoever, a very good flow. What I always do to test these pens is I write a full page, a full A4 page of text in one go. There was no skipping, there was nothing, there were no hard starts, the pen didn't run dry, it kept flowing in a very natural fashion. This is a cattail. So that's very good. Also, it really didn't run dry, so the ink at the end of the page looked the same as the ink at the start of the page, meaning it had nice shading to it, and it didn't run dry as some pens tend to do, and they end up very nicely shaded, and then they end at the end of the page they're very dry and just uniform. At least that's what I've noticed with some pens. So I'm quite impressed, and in all, I think that warrants the somewhat higher cost of this pen as compared to some of the other Italix pens. Alright, I think that covers what I like about it, what I don't like about it. Let's take a couple of measurements. Capped, I have 5.54 inches, that's 140.73 millimeters. Uncapped, I have 125.3 millimeters, that's 4.93 inches. Switching on my scale there so that I can warm up. Section diameter at the narrowest point is 8.79 millimeters, it's 0.35 inches, and at the widest point it's 11 millimeters or 0.44 inches. Okay, let's have a look at my scale. I capped the pen, it is about half full of ink, and it clocks in at 50 grams, making it a not exactly light pen. As I said before, it is a metal body with piano lacquer on it, so it should be a bit heavy. I find it a robust pen. I think what we need to do now is see how it writes. That's what's coming up next. Again, thanks a lot to Peter Ford for sending me the pen. I very much appreciate it. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so here we go with the Italix Viper's Strike. The ink is Ackerman Hofwijver Grijs, and the nib is a medium. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now this nib is a joy. It really is a joy to write with. Very smooth, very even ink flow, no skipping. However, now let's write quickly and see if it keeps it up. Fortunately, one little bit of skip there, and I actually do not think I misaligned the nib, but maybe I did. But apart from that, it keeps going, and I don't think anyone will realistically write that quickly, so very, very impressive. As to wetness of the nib, No complaints there. It's definitely wet enough. Line variation. It's not advertised as a flex nib. It is going to railroad, but if you go slow and you really need to squeeze out a little bit of line variation to whatever, maybe add a little bit of character to your handwriting, you can. I'm realigning the nib a little bit. You see, I adjust my speed, and you really get a lovely amount of line variation out of this. Again, not a flex nib, so be careful. You shouldn't push this too hard. I'm pretty sure you can spring this, but it's a nice, smooth and somewhat soft 18K nib. Very nice. Now, for those of you who enjoy this, reverse writing, I never do it, but some people do. Definitely scratchier and definitely a lot drier, but I guess you can maybe get 3-4 words out of it before it runs completely dry. So, all in all, a very, very nice pen, I would say. A sincere thanks to Mr. Ford over at mrpen.co.uk for supplying me with the pen. I very much enjoy it. I hope this review was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye.